Hello friends, we're gonna make a homemade hair oil, and excuse the look of my hair. I worked from home today, so it's kind of a laid back day. Nobody wants to learn how to make a hair oil. Wow! Maybe I'll just have to record this and post it later. Hair oil, friends. How you guys doing today? How is life? You guys into holistic, natural things? We're going to use some dried herbs to make a hair oil. I'm going to teach you how to do it. Good stuff. We've got mint, we've got rosemary, we've got lavender, we've got eucalyptus. And we're going to use some dried herbs too. So if you're new to watching me, my name is Angie. I am a certified herbalist. I got my certification from Cornell. I also have my bachelor's from Ohio State University in horticulture and agriculture. I also have my master's, but it's not anything like that. And I've been making my own medicine and doing herbal remedies for quite a long time. I grow a lot of mine that I use in my medicines. I do have a shop that I sell tinctures on, face oils, skin care, hair care, but I show you how to make them so that if you want to learn how to make them, you can make them yourself. You guys are a quiet, hard group, man. What's up here? All right, so what I'm doing is I have a quart jar, and some of the ingredients that's going to be in this is rosemary, echinacea, eucalyptus, alma, which is wonderful for hair growth. It has bringra, which is fantastic for hair growth. Fenugreek, we're going to eventually put some tea tree in this, lavender, onion, and peppermint, but I'm using mint today. So I went out this morning while the oils were very volatile in my herbs, and I went ahead and picked some of them that I grow out there that were big enough that I could actually harvest. So all I'm going to do is we want as much of the surface area as we can get in the herbs. Let's see if we can bring you guys down a little bit. Hi Linda, how are you? We're making a hair oil. So this is the mint, and as I mentioned, I picked this earlier this morning. I'm doing stems and everything, friends. The whole plant is good for your hair. It's good for your body. If you grow mint, it's very invasive, so make sure you either container grow it or you have a way to keep it in its boundaries so it doesn't take over your entire garden. And my mistake was I combined when I was out there harvesting this morning, I just threw them all into the same container. So they're all everywhere, all mixed up. This is dried eucalyptus. I grow my own eucalyptus. It's wonderful for hair. So, and like I said, it's dried. This is not fresh. And for those of you that follow me, you guys are very well aware of using fresh plants in oil. It's really a no-no. And if you do it, you can do it. I shouldn't say it's a no-no. You can do it, but you need to be mindful of your oil becoming rancid. You need to make sure those fresh flowers, herbs are completely covered up with your oil. And guys, I'm gonna do this the easier way since they're dried. Just slide them off the stem and put them in. Slide them off the stem and just put them in. So they're in my hand, and then I'm just going to crunch them. It's a lot better than going through that whole cutting stuff. All right, so we have the eucalyptus in there. Looks like I have a little bit more mint in here. Unfortunately, some of the ingredients that I put in here, I don't have, like the onion. Can you believe I'm all out of onion? Who runs out of onion? You know what I'm saying? And I have my garlic drying. You know what? I think I have some. No, my garlic's drying out in the garage right now because I harvested it recently. But you'll understand here in a minute why it's not any big deal that I don't have those ingredients here right now. I will be adding them. Here's some more mint. We've got some rosemary, fresh rosemary. And I need to go the other way. Easy way with rosemary, hold it. I know, right? So you hold it up this way and you just put it over your jar. And it comes off real easy. Now the stem is good. And I'm all about what not wasting. Waste not, want not. So we're gonna cut up that stem in there, except for the brown area. Cut that off. And that area. Actually, it's so hard. That means the oils are not in there anymore, so I'm not gonna be using that. All right, we have got some lavender. I did not want to take my flowers off. So I just grabbed some leaves, and again, we're just breaking these up, putting them in there. Stems and all, that you can feel the softness in them. This one's a little bit harder. I am making a hair oil, hair growth oil. And so far we've got some eucalyptus, we have some mint in here. I'm getting ready to put some more rosemary in here. And these are fresh herbs that I harvested this morning. You usually want to harvest your herbs, honestly, before 11 o'clock. Because the sun hasn't beaten down on them. The internal parts of your herb are the freshest. You know, the sun's hit them, they've had a good night's sleep, the sun's hit them, and it's just really the best time to harvest them. When the sun starts hitting them and they get hot, those oils are going to start disappearing some way. Where we have more rosemary. Eric, so good for kidney stones. Look for Chonka Piedra. Gravel root is another good one. Gravel root's also known as can't remember the other name for it, but it's gravel root. And then those will break up the stones. Now I have a tincture on my website that breaks up stones. Hi Cindy Lou, hi Norma. We are making a hair oil. Hold on, can I answer your question? Be happy to answer it for you, hold on. So Eric, on my website, timetoheal.net, I have a blend. It's a blend of herbs, because when you're passing a kidney stone, number one, they're very painful, but when you pass it, they are basically jagged crystals, so your urethra can be very painful. So in my blend, I not only have the Chonka Piedra, I have marshmallow root with the mucilage in it, so it will soothe the urethra. I have lobelia in there that will help with the pain, and if it also has antibiotic properties to help with that. So check it out. It's called Stone Smasher. It's on timetoheal.net. So I wanted to see what she could. Okay, hold on here. I'm getting out of it. Kim, so if you are going to do an oil and you are not familiar with how to make an oil with fresh herbs, I would suggest that you dry them first, because fresh herbs have water content. And I'm going to be getting to that here in a minute. But if you're new to it, yes, I definitely would dry your herbs. You appreciate it. My wife just got diagnosed this morning. Yeah, my website, Stone Smasher, Eric. I hope it helps. Hi, Lioness Queen. How are you? All right, we're all cut up. So I had mentioned about the stems, which ones you want to use and how far down. Do you see this right here? It's very, very flexible. It still has, but this end, no. So I'm just going to use that little end right there. All right, we've got some more. This is lavender. We're just going to take that off there. And some more lavender. Well, good. I'm glad things are going good for you. I've enjoyed your videos. Okay. Same with this stem. It's not very pliable. We have, okay, here's some excuse me. Well, you're welcome, Joyce. This is some more eucalyptus. This is wild mountain Greek oregano that I grow. I actually ordered the seeds from Greece. I mean, I have the customs paperwork and everything. Oregano is very good for the hair also. Same thing with the seeds. Do you see how this is a little bit different? We're just going to use that. And just pull your leaves off. Rip them up, because you want as much surface area to be able to be hit. We need to pull out all that goodness. All right, and we have gotten to the end of my harvested herbs. All the stems. Okay, friends, now I don't grow amla, bringra. My echinacea isn't ready to be harvested yet, but I do have dried amla. It's wonderful for hair, and I believe, if I recall seeing Guru Nanda's videos, he's coming out with something internally or something. This is a 1/3 of a cup. Let me make sure. Yes. And we're just going to put 1/3 of a cup. It's powdered amla. And that's a fruit. I unfortunately can't get the live fruit around here. I would love to, because, you know, Angie would be buying it. She would be drying it, and she'd be powdering it. Ooh, that was on my hands. Amla, A-M-L-A. It's wonderful for hair growth. It's good for your skin too. This is bringra, B-R-I-N-G-R-A-J, bringra. And this is wonderful for hair. And you know one thing, oh no, didn't I get it? Guys, I forgot the most important. Hold on. Okay, we gotta make sure we have all of our ingredients, friends. Bringra, one of the top 5 herbs for hair. This is a powder also. It's kind of a green consistency. 1/3 of a cup in there. Echinacea. I am not putting a ton of echinacea in here. I'm going to do half of that 1/3. We're putting it in to the jar. And the star of the show is horsetail. So, horsetail, guys. Horsetail is great. It's great for hair. It's great for your skins. It's great for your nails. Regarding a plant, an herb, it has the most silica, which is a mineral our bodies need. It is the highest percentage of silica in the plant world. It's great. You can even, we're making an oil out of this, but you couldn't take it internally. You could take this powder, you could turn it into a tea if you wanted to. You can consume it. It's a beautiful green plant that grows in the wild. It can be, you can forage it if you would like. This one, I did 1/3 of a cup. Now we're at a quart jar, and it's pretty full, isn't it? So let's talk about oils and how you make an oil. So when you are making medicine, let's think about this step by step. When you are making medicine, you want to be able to pull out the medicinal properties out of the plant matter that you are using. In order to do that, you need to use 3 different things, honestly, when it comes to pulling plant matter out. You either want a high proof alcohol. Hey, them farms, how are you? Thanks for joining. Good to see you. You want a high proof ethanol to pull out that medicine. You could also use a glycerite. We've talked about those before. You're not going to get as strong of a medicine. And what we're making, a hair oil, I would not suggest a glycerite. It's a very sticky substance. You could also use apple cider vinegar to pull these out. It's not going to be as strong. So I would suggest you stick with alcohol when it comes to doing this. My bad, I missed a meeting today. Anyway, I get on TikTok and I forgot about my job, guys. But that's okay. Anyway, you want to pull out the medicine with a high-grade alcohol. You can use any kind of alcohol that you want. You can use brandy. You can use vodka. You can use whiskey. You can use rum. It is entirely up to you what you use to pull out your medicine, as long as it is high grade. So in order to pull out the goodness when you're making a hair oil, just pouring oil over this, it's not going to work, because oil is not something that can pull it out. Oil can't pull out those medicinal properties. It can be a good smelling oil. The smell will be there. Some of the color may transfer into the oil. But the only way to break down those cell walls on these plants is by a high-proof alcohol. Again, a glycerite, which we wouldn't use for an oil. You could use an apple cider vinegar, but I wouldn't suggest it because it's not going to pull as many out. Just stick with the high-grade alcohol. So we're going to add alcohol to this. And this is going to sit for about 3 to 4 weeks because we're not ingesting it. I just went, and it can sit for 6 weeks if you want it to. It's up to you. But I'm running low on my hair oil, and I need to get this going a little bit sooner. Now, as a matter of fact, I have some in my my back stock, I guess you would call it. So I'm actually going to let this sit for 6 weeks in alcohol. Then what I'm going to do is I have to get rid of that alcohol in here, but I need to have the oil, okay? So what I'm going to do you see this apparatus right here? I just bought this little stand. My God, what's it doing? This is called a sous vide. And what this does is it let me show you this way. When I will never strain this. I'm going to keep the alcohol in here. And it's going to pull out all those medicinal properties. When 6 weeks has come, I'm going to transfer it to a larger container. Like this one right here. This is a 1/2 gallon. This originally looked like this one with alcohol in it. And I pulled all those medicinal properties out. When the 6 weeks were up, I added a 4-to-1 ratio of alcohol to oil. I mixed the oil and the alcohol together at a 4-to-1 ratio. 1 part alcohol, 4 parts oil. Whatever oils you are wanting to work with. So now I've got alcohol and I've got oil in here, but I need to burn that alcohol off without ruining the medicinal properties that I've pulled out with the alcohol that are floating around here in this liquid. And I only want the oil left with all that medicine. So that's where this comes in. This is a sous vide. You put your temperature on. Of course, this is in Celsius. So this is about 120 some degrees in heat. So it's high enough to burn the alcohol off, but it's not going to ruin the properties of the herbs or the oils, because our oils have medicinal properties to them also. This one specifically has been running for 4 days. And so the alcohol's burned out, because alcohol burns off. It's basically steaming it off. Alcohol burns off at a lower temperature than what your oils would be affected. Do I have any questions, guys? I hope I was able to give the step-to-step process for you guys. Any questions at all? Okay, cool. So when this one behind me is fully done, which will be tonight, I'm going to, let me put you guys back up. So when this one right here is finished, I'm going to strain it. And I'm probably going to end up straining that about 4 or 5 times, because you want to make sure the particles, if you use powder, you don't want it to be gritty, right? So you gotta, it's a process, guys, to make your own oil. Again, it's just not throwing some herbs into some oil and letting them infuse. That's something if for like a bath or something like that, you know, lavender oil, or if you're making a soap or, you know, something like that. But if you are wanting to use those plants and turn it into an oil for your hair or for your face, you got to go through this process. All right, so my synthetic wig, let me show it to you. Hold on. Ooh, my hair's all tangled up in this. It's not a wig! Anyway. Where was I at? But I look like Cruella de Vil now. So, when it comes to, you want to make sure you strain it really, really, really well, okay? Well, thank you, Joyce. Thank you, thank you. I know you guys aren't going to walk away from here knowing exactly how to do this. It takes time, you know what I mean? But at least you know the concept. You know what I mean? You know you just can't throw some herbs in there and have a hair oil. There's a process to it. So, we've got everything in here for our hair oil. And as this is going to also have tea tree in it, It's also going to have some essential oils in it, but I'm not going to add those right now because alcohol is going to damage those essential oils. That heat may, when it comes to this phase, doing this hair oil, it possibly could ruin the essential oils. So any volatile oils, sensitive oils, essential oils, you want to do that when you're done, after you've strained it. You know, you don't want to do it during phase 1, 2, and 3. Okay? So, as I mentioned, you can use any alcohol you want. I usually have vodka in the house, but I don't today. And I really wasn't feeling up to going to the, we call it the state store, the liquor store, to buy some, but I have some high proof rum. This is 151 proof. So we are looking at what? It's not 95%. We're looking at 70% alcohol, which is good because I have live plant matter in here. And plants have water in them. And we want to make sure we don't have more water than we do alcohol. And you're probably wondering, well, why? Why do we care how much water is in there? Because if we don't have enough water, if we have too much water, more water percentage than alcohol, we have live plants in there, it can go rancid. Let me get something to story this with. I am all out of my little chopsticks, so I'm using and it's so cool when you start moving it and the alcohol starts going in there. You get all this bubbling. Alright, so you want to, it's kind of like if you're a canner, when you're adding your liquid to your canning, you got to debubble it. And that's what we're doing here. And we're just stirring, stirring, stirring. So no more comment on my synthetic wig? Man. I love it when people tell me I got a wig on. Hey, Gigi. That's what my grandkids call me. All right, friends. This is to the brim. One moment. I always really try to be very organized and have everything so I don't have to get up and be rude. This is press and seal. It's my preferred method for my tinctures. You can use a coffee filter if you want. I would not use paper towels, friends. No. You could use wax paper. But the reason I do this is because I fill my tinctures all the way to the top to make sure all the plant matter is covered up, and it's alcohol. And it can corrode, honestly. So you just shake it up. I always turn it over to make sure that all the plant matter is submerged in water. Well, Lori, they thought they were going to get the best of me, and they just kind of had to go on their merry way, didn't they? I don't mind trolls, whatever. If that's honestly how they want to spend their day, more power to them. I personally would think they should learn a new skill and learn something new, but whatever. All right, so that's it, guys. Again, we're going to let this sit for 6 weeks. Going to then put it into a larger container. We're going to add our oil to a 1 to 4 ratio, 1 part alcohol and 4 parts whatever oils that I want to use. And you don't need to add all those oil. I'm not going to confuse you. 1 to 4 part. So that I'm going to mix that oil with this, herbs and all. Everything in there. because that's what's going on in that one too. It has the herbs in there. It has all the goodness in there. So we'll add the oil to this. We'll start this process, burn that alcohol off. I will then strain it, get all the herb, the mark out of there, and we will have a hair oil. Now then, as I mentioned, I don't have onions. That's okay. My garlic's out there. I can add that in here at any time. I can go to the store, put them in tomorrow, put them in the next day, the next day, the next day, the next day. You at least want to get them in the first week because you want as much those little items in here as long as possible. But it's fine. It's all right. What kind of oil would I use? For this, I am going to use a argan oil, a jojoba oil. You could use an olive oil if you would like. It really depends on what kind of oil you like. If you like a lighter oil, you could use like a grapeseed oil, which is good for the hair. You could use a sweet almond oil. All the oils are good for your hair. You know, it's just, do you want a lighter oil? A moringa oil is really light. I also put, and I do this, after it's strained and been filtered and all that good stuff, I do put a little bit of castor oil in there. We want that medicine to penetrate the scalp. So I do put castor oil in there. And like on my face oils, I put emu in there also, in addition to the castor oil. Emu is a great penetrating oil. But I do not do any of this with emu or castor oil. Those are oils that I add after everything's done and it's strained. Then I add those. So, yeah. That's it. You guys learned something new today. Any questions? Well, you're quite welcome. I'm glad you guys could join. It's about all I have right now, friends. Been a busy day. Some people had some orders. They went out today. For those of you on the Monroe Effect that ordered, if you guys are in here, they will not go out until Friday. Still doing the processes. So, right there. So, we'll have that bottled up tonight and tomorrow. Well, good. Mostly a name. I try to go through the steps so it makes sense. Because otherwise I couldn't make sense of it. So, yeah. And that's just the first batch of Monroe. I've got a whole gallon jar over here of some more that has to go through that process. I've got a lot to do with that. So, but I did want to get the hair oil done because I only have a couple bottles left. Whatever is in stock in the store is gone. I just sold the last one. So I have to bottle up. I have to get those other bottles from the backup stock out. Anybody don't have a gallbladder or anything like that, just put a good informative video about your gallbladder. There is sometimes some misconception that once you lose your gallbladder that you no longer have bile. That's not true. Your liver still produces the bile and it goes directly to your small intestines. What the gallbladder does, it's a holding tank. And our body talks to each other. You know, there's the vagus nerve that goes from the gut to the brain, and it basically is like a highway of information going from the gut. The gut tells on the liver, the gut tells on the kidneys. It's telling the brain, hey, these boys down here ain't acting right. So when we eat something, when you have your gallbladder, it holds your bile. It's the holding tank for it. And when that food hits your gut, it's letting the brain know to tell your gallbladder how much bile it needs to release based upon the fatty content of what you're eating. So on a high-fat meal, your gallbladder would release a lot more bile than it would if you were eating a carrot. Okay? Now let's say you have your gallbladder removed. Well, the gallbladder is no longer there to be the holding tank, but the bile is still being made. Your liver's still making it, right? So it's just going, there's a steady stream just going into your small intestine. You're still getting bile. But when you have that fatty meal, you're getting the same amount of bile that you get if you're eating that carrot. You're not getting any more to break down that fat for digestive issues, okay? What can you do? Yes, it's just going through you. So what can you do? Before you eat, you can take ox bile. Ox bile is a route that you can use before you eat. So it's going through the digestive process to beef up the amount of bile that your body is going to have to digest those higher fat meals. Another thing when it comes to the gallbladder, friends, there are clinical studies that show the stones that get lodged in our gallbladder, a lot of them actually are formed in our liver, and they pass through the duct to the gallbladder, and they just sit there and they get bigger and they get bigger. So the point, because the liver makes the bile. So my point being, our liver does so many good things. Keep your liver health good. You'll have less problems with the gallbladder, stones being made there, fat, you know. And even if you have your gallbladder and you eat hot and you start having problems, start using that ox bile. Get yourself on a liver cleanse, you know, support your liver. Try the stone smasher. It possibly could help with those stones. Chunk of pH breaks up everything. So, did you have an ultrasound? I lost my gallbladder back in 1994 or 1995. Knock on wood, thank goodness I haven't had a lot of issues, but I take ox bile. Unfortunately, they're in pill form. I'm not a fan of pills, but it is what it is. You can't find it in, it's not something you can get in a plant. It's not something that you can grow. It's not in a tree. It's not in a bark. It is synthetic. Oh, okay, Lauren. So yeah, you made the good choice. Those two right there, sweetheart, that'll help. That'll help. That should help. As long as they're not like humongo, and even if they're, well, it should still help. But I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to say. But anyway, friends, I did want to tell you about the gallbladder thing. You know, it's good to have. Diverticulitis, Holly. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. So some things that you may want to look into. Slippery elm, marshmallow root might help put some mucilage in those little villas, aren't they called villas, in the intestine, and may make it a little bit easier for you. The reason those two are good is because they do have mucilage in them. But here's the key, doll. When you are making a tea out of them, you want to do a cold brew. You don't want to use hot water. And you want it to sit for like 12 hours. And then strain it. Keep that water. You can warm that water up. And when you strain it, you're going to notice a different texture to that water. That's the mucilage in there. And that can coat your stomach. It's good for ulcers. It's good for diverticulitis, IBS, Crohn's disease. It's just absolutely wonderful. It's good if you're constipated. It's both of them are constipated, but especially slippery elm, because it knows what your body needs. If you're constipated, it'll help you go poo-poo. And if you got the diarrhea, it'll help stop. So slippery elm in the case like diverticulitis, I probably would not take a tincture. I would do a tea. You want that to coat it. So I would do a tea. Hi, Rhonda. How are you? We just made a hair oil. It's going to sit for 6 weeks. I'll be posting this probably tomorrow or the next day on YouTube. If you've missed it, you can watch it over there. Anybody who has an Alexa? Alexa, turn it up. Alexa, turn it up. ×3. All right, listen. Alexa, stop. Alexa, when is TikTok going to be banned?
From CoinGate.com. TikTok is likely to be banned in the United States from September 20th.
Hold on. Alexa, when is TikTok to be banned?
From Fecut.com. Department of Commerce announced that TikTok will be banned from the App Store starting this Sunday and that it will be fully banned on November 12th. By the way, you can thank the driver of your most recent delivery, and we'll share your appreciation with them. Just say, "Thank my driver."
Alexa, what year will TikTok be banned?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, TikTok was banned completely in India by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology on June 29, 2020, along with 223 other Chinese apps, with a statement saying they were prejudicial to sovereignty.
Alexa, stop. So, hold on one more time. Alexa, when will TikTok be banned?
From Fecut.com, Department of Commerce announced that TikTok will be banned from the App Store starting this Sunday and that it will be fully banned on November 12th.
November 12th. Did y'all hear that? Supposed to be banned from the App Store this Sunday. And it's going to be gone in November. Follow me on YouTube. I'm on Instagram too. I'm on Threads also. I have my website, timetoheal.net. We'll have Zoom lives through there. We'll do things like we did today. But ask your Alexa. Tell me what it says. All right, friends. Gotta go. You guys have a wonderful day. It's after 4 o'clock. I gotta get dinner started. I ain't ate yet today. I'm hungry. I'm starting to get hangry. And John got home, so he's probably like, "Bitch, you better eat. Don't be getting on my ass." All right, friends. Bye. Have a good day. Ooh. Oh, how do I get out of here? Mostly a name. You were so quiet today. Just a few questions. All right, guys. By the way, Monroe effect. I do have a little puffiness on my eyes, but my wrinkles are looking awfully fine, as in fine, tiny. Okay, friends. Bye. Maybe. It's like an escape room. You can never get out.